Justin Baldoni is like, we offered her an intimacy coordinator and she was not okay with it. Then suddenly in her complaints, she's like, there was no intimacy coordinator. She was totally fine and joking with me about this stuff. And then all of a sudden she's like, why is he riffing at all? Like, we have to just stay in character at all times. I didn't even consider the angle that there had been some sort of a fight that took place between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds that switched things. But it makes sense when you look at the lawsuit. Essentially, Justin Baldoni, Ryan, just trying to peacock him and show him, it doesn't matter who you are. I'm the A-lister. I am Ryan Reynolds. I have A-list friends. I'm friends with Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman. I'm the person that plays Deadpool. That is when Ryan Reynolds, who marched into WME, okay, which is Endeavor. It's also called Endeavor. It is the biggest talent agency in the world, and said, it's us or it's him. Like, you're going to drop Justin Baldoni or you're going to lose all of us.
Really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me, as if I'm Weasel.
Right.
You know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you just, you know, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
A lot, and he's a great improviser.
And how
You know what
much
I mean?
of it
And
made the cut?
a lot of it is what he's doing. I'm riffing. Also, the writers were so incredible. I just kind of listened and thought it was weird. And then I got off stage because then they finally were like, cut. And the whole crew was acting weird. And then I went up to Kate and I was like, that was weird, right? And she was like, of course it was weird. It was insane. It was insane. What the is he doing?
Hey, Blake, tell me you didn't read Justin's lawsuit without telling me. Oh, okay, this is how you do it. Blake Lively's just gonna deny, avoid, ignore. She's gonna act like all the things that Justin pointed out that are very valid are just, abuser playbook tactics. Blake Lively has responded to Justin Baldoni's 179-page, $400 million lawsuit, and her response has only made me want to support Justin even louder.
Have you been keeping an eye on the latest bombshell dropping out of Hollywood? Allegedly, Candace Owens just took aim at none other than Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, rattling the entire celebrity scene with her fiery words about how they treat their children. Yes, that Blake and Ryan, the same duo who usually send the internet into a frenzy with their playful banter and public displays of comedic affection. Now, one of the most controversial commentators around is daring to suggest that these two might not be the sunny, wholesome power couple we all assumed. It's a genuine shocker. And if you're anything like me, you might be wondering, could there really be a darker side behind their perfectly curated family photos and witty social media threads? Candace Owens isn't exactly known for holding back. She's built a reputation for poking at what she calls Hollywood hypocrisy, reveling in the applause of those who feel the A-list tries way too hard to project squeaky clean images. But this time, it looks like she's gone after a pair of stars who are practically untouchable in the public eye. Whether you love them or side-eye them, you can't deny that Blake and Ryan are among Tinseltown's favorite sweethearts. The more question swirling around now is simple. Has Candace discovered something the rest of us overlooked, or is she just stirring the pot for attention? Whatever the truth, we're diving headfirst into the rumors, revelations, and downright explosive allegations she's unleashed about one of the most beloved celebrity couples on the planet. Candace Owens' YouTube podcast episode, allegedly now making the rounds in gossip circles, shows her speaking in that trademark style. Sharp, unfiltered, and ready for a fight. She claims that Blake and Ryan, often lauded for their cheeky back and forth on social media, aren't as fun-loving and private as they pretend to be. Instead, there's talk of strict parenting rules, an allegedly stifling household environment, and a bigger conversation about celebrity hypocrisy at large. Candace, in her usual approach, suggests that the couple's brand, yes, brand, centers on warmth, humor, and accessibility, but that they use this image to keep fans and critics from digging deeper. Now, it's easy to dismiss these allegations as just another bold attempt by Candace to snag headlines. After all, picking on America's comedic sweethearts is a guaranteed way to spark debate. Yet, part of what's catching people's attention is the level of detail she supposedly dived into. She references unnamed sources who claim to have witnessed behind-the-scenes bickering, controlling interactions with their children, and a big discrepancy between how the public sees them and how they allegedly treat the staff around them. It's a far cry from the endearing pictures we see of them strolling through city streets, kids in tow, beaming for the cameras. But hold on, before we take Candace's statements at face value, let's look at the contrasting perspective. Over the years, Fans who've encountered Blake and Ryan in person rave about how genuine and gracious they are. Ryan's comedic timing isn't just for the cameras. Multiple people say he's equally playful off-screen. Blake, known for her impeccable style and kind gestures to fans, rarely triggers controversy on her own. Could two people who appear so giving and lighthearted truly have such a domineering dynamic at home? Or is Candace's narrative far more complicated than she's letting on? Whichever way you slice it, the internet is going bananas. Some folks are calling Candace an opportunist, pointing out that attacking a golden couple is a surefire way to drum up attention. Others say, where there's smoke, there's fire, suggesting that even if Candace is overblowing the details, there might still be some truth to the whispers. After all, Hollywood has a long history of carefully curated images that turn out to be illusions. The question is, does that pattern apply to Blake and Ryan, or are they simply the latest targets of an alleged smear campaign by a commentator who loves pushing the envelope? When it comes to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, the Hollywood image is impossible to ignore. These two have turned witty Twitter exchanges into a public art form, gleaning millions of laughs and likes. They grace red carpets with effortless style, champion charitable causes, and appear in interviews as the epitome of balance and charm. That's the face they show the world. But Candace Owens insists this glowing facade is just that, a performance carefully engineered to secure lucrative brand deals and maintain their unstoppable momentum in the film industry. Allegedly, behind the scenes, they could be micromanaging everything from their children's daily schedules to the social media angles that keep them relevant. And that's precisely what hooks people's interest. We've seen countless celebrity couples crumble under the pressure of living two lives, one for the paparazzi, one for the quiet walls of home. The so-called perfect relationships can sometimes hide turmoil that only emerges after it's too big to ignore. But so far, nothing scandalous has truly stuck to Blake and Ryan. They've avoided the major pitfalls that trip up so many other stars. If Candace's words hold any weight, then we might be looking at a narrative that calls out everything fans love about them, accusing them of turning parenthood into a carefully staged marketing strategy. Fans, of course, are rushing to defend them. Dedicated supporters argue that no couple in the public eye has to broadcast their private parenting styles. Is it wrong for them to shield their kids from the glaring lights of the entertainment world? Doesn't that protect the children's well-being? Or is Candace suggesting that the very shield is part of an allegedly manipulative mechanism? She claims that by restricting real glimpses into their family life, Blake and Ryan maintain an aura of mystery and control that fuels even more public fascination. It's the classic push and pull. Show just enough to be adored, but not too much, to spark legitimate scrutiny. What's more intriguing is the potential ripple effect. If Candace is correct, then there may be other celebrities quietly noticing the cracks in Blake and Ryan's pristine facade. Sometimes it only takes one high-profile figure to say aloud what industry insiders have muttered in private. Are we on the brink of a mass unmasking? Or will Candace's allegations evaporate into just another fleeting moment of tabloid gossip? Right now, the public seems to be holding its breath, waiting for that next piece of evidence, a leaked email, hot mic recording, or maybe even an ex-employee with a grudge. Because if Candace's stance gains traction, we could see a full-scale re-examination of a couple we previously believed was beyond reproach. Mention Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and you can't help but think of their famous circle of friends. One of their most notable besties is Taylor Swift, who famously used their children's names in her music and has been spotted spending quality time with the Reynolds-Lively clan. The trio's camaraderie has long been an internet sensation, with fans adoring the glimpses of them partying, visiting each other, and exchanging witty remarks. So, if Candace is targeting Blake and Ryan for questionable parenting tactics, how does that impact Swift? Is she caught in the crossfire, or is she quietly supporting them behind closed doors? Allegedly, Candace has hinted that some of the couple's high-profile friendships might be a strategic alliance designed to boost their star power even further. She questions whether celebrities like Taylor Swift, knowingly or unknowingly, partake in the public relations machine that keeps Blake and Ryan's family-friendly brand afloat. According to Candace, these connections can act as an endorsement of sorts. If you're good enough for Taylor Swift, obviously you're golden in the eyes of the public. But could Swift be drawn into a controversy she never signed up for, especially if the chatter around Blake and Ryan's supposed private life intensifies? Fans on social media have had a field day speculating about how Taylor might respond. Some say she'll remain loyal to her friends, maintaining that the stories are baseless gossip. Others suggest she might keep her distance if the public narrative turns sour. After all, Swift has faced her own share of controversies and might not want additional heat. A few conspiracy theorists even propose that Taylor might be among those who allegedly witnessed controlling or strict behavior firsthand, but hushes it up out of loyalty. It's a swirling cauldron of rumors, innuendos, and eyebrow-raising theories, fueled by Candace's allegations that there's a bigger web of deception at play. The question we're left with is whether these star-studded friendships are genuine, or if they serve as a cushion for celebrities to protect one another from scandal. In a world where appearances can mean everything, loyalty often stands on shaky ground. Yet, if Candace is truly onto something, we could see a crack forming in that foundation. Are we looking at a situation where private disputes leak into the public realm, forcing other stars to pick a side? Or will this entire episode remain a sensational footnote, quickly overshadowed by Hollywood's next big drama? Either way, we can't ignore the fact that the involvement of someone as globally influential as Taylor Swift adds an extra jolt of intrigue to the entire storyline. With social media in full swing, fans have been swift to react, some fervently, defend Blake and Ryan, pointing out charitable deeds, philanthropic efforts, and their well-known sense of humor. They argue that these two have done nothing but spread positivity. Others, however, are more skeptical, saying they've always found the pair too perfect to be real. Allegedly, the latter group claims that once a celebrity couple crosses a certain threshold of fame, they start curating everything for maximum applause, including how they portray their own children. Conversations are getting heated on various platforms. Supporters say that even if the couple does maintain strict rules at home, that's their prerogative as parents, no different from millions of other families who prefer setting boundaries. But Candace Owens has always had a knack for wording her claims in a way that suggests something more nefarious than simple discipline. She hints at a manipulative dynamic in which these rules become a tool of control, not just an ordinary part of parenting. Allegedly, she even questions whether the kids are being used as pawns in the couple's larger brand-building exercise. That notion has riled up fans on both sides, prompting an avalanche of emotional responses. Meanwhile, some moderate voices are calling for patience, pointing out that no concrete evidence has surfaced beyond Candace's inflammatory remarks and scattered whispers from anonymous insiders. Without text messages, video clips, or direct testimonies from those who actually work with Blake and Ryan, it's all speculation. But rumor and speculation, especially when delivered with confident, sensational rhetoric, can still do significant damage to a celebrity's reputation. And if you think about it, that might just be the point of such controversies. Sowing enough doubt that people can't help but wonder if every photo of Blake and Ryan with their kids is staged, every smile forced, and every affectionate tweet pre-planned for maximum effect. Candace Owens' persona thrives on stirring debate. She often positions herself as a lone wolf, unafraid to name and shame public figures she believes are hiding behind polished veneers. Allegedly, she perceives Hollywood as a playground for the entitled, brimming with arrogance and hypocrisy. So when she zeroes in on a target like Blake and Ryan, it's easy to see a pattern. She frames them as yet another example of celebrities who lecture the masses about values while quietly flouting those same standards behind closed doors. Critics argue that Candace specifically seeks out the most beloved personalities because that's where she can maximize her impact. She's tackled various A-listers before, challenging what she calls their fake morals. But why now, and why Blake and Ryan? Maybe it's the perfect time, considering how heavily these two lean on humor and family-centric storytelling in their public branding. If Candace manages to crack that facade, even a little, she can drum up an immense reaction from fans who are used to seeing only a one-dimensional, squeaky clean image. Allegedly, Candace's entire approach hinges on drawing attention to anything that might undercut that squeaky cleanliness. Still, Owens' supporters maintain that she's doing the public a favor by at least opening the conversation. They claim Hollywood elites have too much power to shape narratives and silence critics, and that a high-profile commentator stepping in can peel back the curtain, even if just a bit. Allegedly, they believe that celebrities who present themselves as paragons of virtue should be subject to scrutiny. If there's truth to any of Candace's claims, these supporters argue, it will eventually bubble to the surface, and if not, well, no harm in shining a spotlight on what might simply be a couple with a strong sense of privacy. The debate rages. on, and it's exactly the kind of chaos Candace typically sparks whenever she zeroes in on a new target. At the end of the day, we're left with more questions than answers. Are Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds truly the lighthearted, witty parents we've grown to admire, or is there a layer of strategic image control that borders on manipulation? Allegedly, Candace Owens has ripped the curtain back, insisting that these two are not the wholesome angels we think. But without solid proof, we can only watch from the sidelines, analyzing every new interview, every social media post, every red carpet appearance for signs of cracks in their picture-perfect world. And that might be exactly what keeps this rumor alive. The mere possibility that one of Hollywood's most cherished couples could have skeletons in the closet is too tantalizing to ignore. Will we get that jaw-dropping revelation that catapults the story into undeniable fact, or will Blake and Ryan's reputation remain unscathed, proving Candace wrong? Until something concrete surfaces, it's up to each of us to decide which side of the fence we're on. But one thing's for sure, in a celebrity culture hungry for scandal, this debate isn't going anywhere soon. It may fade, but the seed of suspicion has already been planted, daring fans to question everything they thought they knew about their beloved Hollywood sweethearts.